Yeah, I would say that there's really a four-pronged strategy that companies and Squeeze is at the forefront of this. I mean, we've listened to you guys, and like Carson says, we've been on panels and been super impressed with not only the work you do with us, but the work you do to promote great dialing practices on behalf of the customers that choose to work with Squeeze, which is a big thing. So the four-pronged strategy, in my opinion, it starts with removing the spam tags. That's table stakes at this point in time. People are so socialized to when they see anything on their phone that looks like a spam tag, whether it says spam or scam or fraud, which those are generally the ones people should ignore. Even if it says spam, they're ignoring those too. The second piece is actually testing into the right branding strategy. There's this misnomer out there that if you just put a name on a phone number, people are going to answer it. And that's not always the case. It depends on the type of the phone call. It depends on what the name says. Branding is certainly a tool to promote people to pick up the phone when done correctly. The way to figure out how to do it correctly is to test into it. There's some really great things coming around the corner, and maybe it's, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but around call use case. And we think call use case is going to be great for branding. So not only will it say Walgreens is calling you, but it will say Walgreens is calling you to remind you of a prescription, for example. So the consumer sees not only it's Walgreens, a brand they trust and interact with, but then also the use case of reminding them that their prescription is ready. So testing into the right branding strategies, phase two. The third one is to fix your data. So we talk a lot about the outbound numbers, protecting the outbound numbers, branding the outbound numbers, but a lot of companies then neglect the data quality of the numbers they're dialing into. And if you're dialing into phone numbers that aren't linked to that person, or phone numbers that haven't made a phone call in 12 months, or phone numbers that have been reassigned recently, all of that data, that's going to promote a lot of dials that are going to be just ineffective. And then subsequently, it also is going to kind of trigger some of those spam tagging algorithms when if you dial a lot of phone numbers that are inactive phone numbers or not connected phone numbers, you look like a spammer because they don't care. Mm-hmm. And then the last one is basically not to dial, and I'll tone it down because I'm not sure of your audience, but not to dial like an a-hole. Like dial like you'd want your mother to be dialed into, which I know I've been on panels with Carson. I know you guys are proponents of this, but there's data out there that after the 10th, the 11th, the 12th hour, and it's probably not even that much, that your productivity for making those dials goes through the floor. There's no need to call someone 45 times in a week. Mm-hmm. There's no need. Exactly. So we often advocate dial into somebody like you'd want your mother to get dialed into, because that's good, responsible dialing, and that's going to help you manage your reputation. It's going to get you the productivity, et cetera. So those are kind of the four things.
I think that's a great, framework of things to look at for, what if you're going to evaluate what you're doing right now. I think, David, what you hit on there, those four are really where you need to start. That's where we started when we began working with you at Newstar, was the spam scam tagging. We started there, and what we were doing before was basically, we had like 4,000 different numbers we're rotating, and when numbers would get flagged and we could identify that this one was flagged as a spam or scam, we would pull it out of the rotation and replace it with a different number for that, for that area code or things like that. But that was like really ineffective and really labor intensive too, frankly, and not very accurate. We were always running into issues like that.